Hey, thank you so much for tuning in yet again. We've been having great conversation with Mr. Andrew Mura, an advocate of the High Court who specializes in conveyancing, arbitration, and commercial law. You guys should have memorized that by now. I've said it like a million times. But I'm really happy about just having these conversations about what the law has to say about all manner of issues around land investment. So in this episode, we'll be picking up on an interview that we had with a county executive committee member for Kajiado County, lands, urban planning and physical planning and urban development, Honorable Hamilton Parseina. And we're gonna get Mr. Mura's take on the legal aspects surrounding what the county wants to do or is thinking of doing. You're watching On Land in Kenya. I am Solomon Wango. So Andrew, we just concluded a candid conversation session with the county executive committee member for lands, physical planning and urban development for Kajiado, Honorable Hamilton Parseina, and he mentioned a few things. Some things could be a bit shocking or maybe disturbing for a lot of us in the investment sector because of what the new county government is trying to do about their land resource, conserving agricultural space for food security, and ensuring planned and organized development of the county. I just wanted to get your take from a legal perspective. One of the things he mentioned in the very first segment of the interview was that he's thinking of, or rather the county government, because of all the nonsense that's going on in Kajiado County with subdivisions of 50 by 100 by 100 plots, which for clarity is 1/8 of an acre or quarter-acre plots, in some cases even half-acre plots that are still zoned agricultural, freehold title by companies that do the same thing we do, although we have never done that kind of thing for obvious reasons. The county government is thinking of blacklisting all the companies that have been doing this within Kajiado County because it's been wrong. It's been illegal, of course immoral as well, because what you're essentially doing is collecting money from unsuspecting market players, investors who trust that because there is a title deed, then everything is okay. Because they don't know what the due process is to arrive at that 50 by 100 and what status it needs to have. Now, I'm not suggesting that everyone who has sold 50 by 100s in Kajiado County has done it illegally. There are those who have done it right and followed the due process, done change of user. One that I like to note is Alexander Forbes, who are located along Namanga Highway, and a number of other developers who've actually built homes, provided infrastructure, in some cases on smaller parcels of land than 50 by 100s, but they did follow due process and got the necessary permissions. But there are those of us in the industry who have done that with raw land, with no infrastructure, no wastewater management, no sewer system, and those kinds of public utility. What would you say to the guy or girl out there who took their hard-earned savings and bought a 50 by 100 from us or someone else that the county now deems to have been produced illegally and are thinking of blacklisting and gazetting a list of titles they believe should be annulled?
Wow.
I know that was a mouthful, but...
Wow, okay. That's a bit of a problem, I should say.
Right.
You can say that the county is coming from a good place, in a
Absolutely,
sense.
I would agree,
Where they're saying, look, the land is too fragmented, it's not in the right kind of use for it, because you have to do a change of use from agricultural to commercial or mixed use for you to be able to even construct your residential unit on that piece of land.
He actually did mention that one of the problems he's already starting to see and foreseeing as happening more in the future is the buyers of these plots of land all over Kajiado County, whether it's Ngong, Kitengela, Kiserian, Isinya, Ilbisil, even parts of Oloitoktok, Kimana, coming up towards Emali, that at some point they'll want to build homes and they will require permits from the county, which they will be denied because they do not own land with the proper user status. Right.
Here we're working backwards. The first step should have been what we've always spoken about, due diligence.
Right.
Due diligence in the sense that very few people know about the scheme of subdivision, which is a very important process. So when someone comes to buy a piece of land, for instance, I remember a client taking us to Isinya, where they had this project of, buy a quarter for, I think it was about 300,000, add another 300,000, and then you get seeds and a greenhouse.
Ah, yes, okay.
Yeah.
But a plot with a greenhouse.
Exactly. That arrangement. And you could easily say that's a good one that should remain as agricultural. Yeah.
Right.
The problem was, even when they had done the subdivision, the demarcation of the roads, or what should have been the access roads for each plot, were not very clear. And these are the telltale signs that people need to look out for. The problem, I suppose, is also the fact that a lot of us buy property with a view to selling it, not to...
right, we're making, in essence, what the bankers call speculative investment.
Exactly.
Hoping to sell the asset off at some point in the future for some capital
my
gain.
concern with what the Kajiado County, as we say, are planning to do, my concern is that it's not going to affect the current owners. It's going to affect, 3-4 tier owner of that piece of land, because I don't think the Kajiado County itself will work with that serious speed. So again, now it calls on those other people who are coming to buy the properties to look into the due diligence of how they arrived at these particular plots.
Right.
Yeah, that's what comes at the top of the mind.
So for future buyers of these
for
parcels
future
of
buyers,
land,
for present buyers who want to, build and develop their own properties, one thing you have to remember is the county governments are administrative bodies. What we say is, for every administrative decision, there's a correlated judicial authority to look into what they're doing. So we call it judicial review. So any decision of an administrative body, and by this I mean even, you've heard of judicial review in the High Court of Kenya. So what tends to happen is the judicial review is essentially to look at the decision that has been arrived at by any administrative body,
whether or not it's in line with constitutional
your own rights to the land. How do we remedy this decision that has been made? And I can tell you for sure that position being taken by the county will be challenged in the High Court.
You think so?
I think so. Because it is going to be an administrative decision, unless they find a way of, appeasing the current owners by virtue of maybe doing compulsory acquisition by the county, pay back those people who've bought those lands, then, in a manner of speaking, hit the reset button, so that every subdivision that now goes through them goes through this proper process.
You're watching All Land in Kenya. I'm Solomon Wangwe. Stay tuned for more information on strategic land investment.